Hi guys, today I wanted to talk about a recent diagnosis that I got of postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. I've noticed that I have progressively gotten more on edge as these months have gone by. And I have been shouting at my kids a lot more than I feel is necessary or appropriate. I was reading an article on one of my breastfeeding sites about this woman who didn't know that she had postpartum anxiety. Because I always hear about postpartum depression being, you know, they always ask you at your postpartum appointments, oh, do you feel like harming yourself or your children? And I don't feel like that. But this article I was reading about this woman had postpartum anxiety is she was mad all the time, and she was annoyed at every little thing. And basically this article, and I'll try to link below, I'll try to find it, sounded exactly like what I am going through. And so I made an appointment with the doctor, and she diagnosed me with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety, and it's really come to a head this past week. I was with my grandparents in Ohio, and I was just very on edge the whole time. I was everything that the children did made me worry. Were they too loud? Were they too quiet? Were they having fun? Were they not having fun? And, like, even now, the way that I feel right now, I don't feel like I'm having a panic attack. I've had those. But I feel almost like everything is sharper and brighter. It's like I am on edge. The constant noise of the children, I cannot drown it out. And that's when I do most of my shouting, is when Emily is whining and whining and the poor baby is crying. Or she has learned how to throw a fit as well. Not real crying, but... And then sweet little Jackson needs something as well. He gets frustrated with something, and he does so well. But I feel like nothing is background noise. Everything is in the front, and it's loud, and it's invasive, and I can't hear myself think. I can't carry on a conversation when my children are being loud. I can't do more than one thing at a time. I cry a lot. Mostly after I shout at the kids, and then I feel horrible. And not to go into too much detail, but my own mother growing up was not at all what you would call ideal. And I'm just going to leave it at that. And I kept feeling, after I shouted at the children, am I turning into my own mother? And so that's usually when I would cry. I would cry when... well, still, when I'm overwhelmed, when I have sensory overload, which is almost all the time, when I yell at the kids for something that they don't deserve to be yelled at for. Like Emily, oh my gosh, she was eating this piece of string cheese in Ohio. And I didn't shout, but I was like, oh my gosh, seriously, it's taken you 25 minutes to chew one bite of this string cheese. And then I figured out it's because I bought this Weight Watcher string cheese. It was the first one that I grabbed, and it's very rubbery. And the poor thing, she was just having a lot of trouble chewing it. But it's like, even that, who gets that annoyed at their 2-year-old for eating a bite of cheese for a long time? I don't know, it's just everything. I feel like so overwhelmed all the time. And I don't care, to be honest. I don't care if the house is clean. The baby has been in the same onesie for 2 days. I don't care. If I didn't have to physically walk to the classroom to pick up Jackson at the end of the day, I wouldn't get dressed because I don't care. I just want to sleep all the time. I'm tired all the time. And I eat a lot of sweets because I just don't want to eat. I don't want to cook anything. Yeah, I just don't care. So I kind of made this video because, again, I always thought that postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety, well, postpartum depression, I never even knew there was postpartum anxiety, was if you want to, you know, harm yourself or your children, and I just kind of left it at that. I didn't realize that it was also, or it could be, these overwhelming feelings that I'm having all of the time. And the person that I spoke with after the doctor's appointment, she said that it's a really good sign that I'm recognizing this. She said because some women don't recognize the early signs, the overwhelming feelings that they're having, and they don't seek help, and it can turn into something called postpartum psychosis. And that those are the women you see on the news that drown their babies, or, you know, jump off a cliff holding their kids. I don't know. But I just, yeah, it's really, really tough. I have a call in to the doctor to start medication to see if that will help. I've heard, I'm part of a cloth diver group, and a lot of the women in there have told me that they've had similar, and they were just on the lowest dose of a certain medication, and it helped them maybe not feel completely normal, but it helped them start to feel normal so that they could pull themselves out of where they were. And this is a difficult thing to talk about on YouTube, because I haven't told a lot of people, and, you know, it's not that I necessarily care what people think, but I don't want people to look at me different. It's something that I literally cannot help. Like, I would not choose this for myself or for really anybody, but I think it's important to know that you're not alone if you've gone through this, or if you're going through this. And again, as of right now, I just feel overwhelmingly overstimulated all the time, even more so than being climbed on all the time, and not being able to go to the bathroom by myself or have a meal without somebody eating my food. Or, I mean, it's just so, everything is overwhelming. Feelings are overwhelming. Senses are overwhelming. The want to sleep all the time is overwhelming. The lack of interest in anything except for sleeping or sitting and watching TV and eating sweets. I don't want to do anything. That feeling is overwhelming. It's just, everything is so overwhelming. And yeah, it's also not hard to admit that I shout at my children, because I know that not things that people post on people aren't going to post on social media. I yelled at my kid 3 times today, but it still makes me feel. But it's not hard to put it out there that I shout at my children, but I do, and that is part of what alerted me to seek help, is that I read this article, and this woman was going through similar things. So I urge you, if you have similar feelings or completely overwhelming, and, you know, see if there's somebody you can talk to, if there's something you can do for yourself. I very often feel guilty for taking time for myself. I urge my husband to do it, but I don't do it because I feel guilty spending time away from my children. And I'm coming to realize that when I get this overwhelmed, I need to take care of myself as well as my children. Not instead of. I don't need to put myself first necessarily, but so that's how it's going now. I will update you guys soonish and let you know how things are going, if I did start on medication, or what route I did decide to take, and how I'm doing. I hope you all are doing well. Bye.